Hello there and welcome to Network Africa with me, Cynthia Ira. Topping our news again today is xenophobia. Now his comments are believed to be the catalyst behind the 3-week-old xenophobia attacks that we're currently seeing in South Africa. As a result, the Zulu King Goodwill Zwelithini is urging restraint after a wave of violence against migrants in South Africa. The Zulu King has been accused of fueling the attacks, which have killed at least 7 people after saying foreigners should go back to their countries. More than 300 people have been arrested in the unrest, and thousands are expected to pack into a stadium in the eastern city of Durban to hear that address. However, he insists that his comments were distorted. Among the latest arrests were 3 men detained in connection with the murder of a Mozambican national in Alexandria, a township in Johannesburg. Now we have confirmation that the meeting with the Zulu King Goodwill Zwelithini is now over, but we cross over now to South Africa, where the Voice of America's Anita Powell is standing by. Anita, it's good to see you again. Thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Now, could you give us an update of the current situation? Do things appear to finally be coming under control?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. What I can tell you is earlier today, the Zulu King, as you mentioned, Goodwill Zwelithini, packed a stadium in Durban with about 5,000 people, and he pledged war on xenophobia. Now, a lot of people are crediting him with being the man who started the fire, so maybe he can put it out and maybe things will improve. That's what people are hoping.
Well, based on the statements that were made, have you seen what results do we expect to see now that the address is over?
Well, I guess we're hoping just to have a peaceful night as the sun prepares to set over South Africa today. I think we'll know more in the morning whether his call for peace was successful. It's also worth noting that he proverbially fell on his sword. He's facing a hate speech charge for making his initial comments, which, as you say, he says were misinterpreted. And he says, please, go on, investigate me. So it really sounds like he's trying to put this all behind us as South Africans, and I think we'll know probably in the morning, in the cold light of day.
But is anything being done for those who've been affected, displaced, essentially, by these attacks that we've seen in the last 3 weeks?
Well, Cynthia, I think that depends who you ask. Over the weekend, I spoke to numerous people here in Johannesburg who say that there's not enough being done for them, that they're homeless, that they've had to flee their businesses, and that they don't have any help. However, there have been camps set up for displaced people in Durban. The government of Zimbabwe has set up services across the border, and about 1,500 people have gone back there. So there are resources, just, I think a lot of people would say, not enough.
Have you heard of any incidents of reprisals like we anticipated could be a possibility based on people having to defend themselves?
There's a lot of worrying talk about that on social networks, on the streets. It hasn't, knock wood, come to fruition yet, and I think everybody's really hoping that it won't, because that would be very ugly.
It will be. Thank you very much for your updates, Anita Powell. We certainly appreciate your time. Stay safe. Thank you so much. Well, we'll have to take a break now on Network Africa. When we come back, we're going to be listening to what you, the viewers, have to say concerning xenophobia in South Africa, and we'll also find out the history behind the menace. Please stay with us.
A finding, no matter how small, can lead to discoveries that transform the course of nations. I'm James Laide. Join me on Channel Discovery as we look into what makes Africa tick and talk and sometimes stop. In the course of this new series, we look at the economic tales of Africa that Africans and the rest of the world are keen to know more about.
Welcome back to Network Africa. We're still looking at xenophobia in South Africa. Now, as you know, we love to hear from you here on the program. Hence, we opted to reach out to you, our viewers, concerning what your thoughts are concerning these xenophobic attacks in the country. And here's what you had to say.
It's quite unfortunate. I mean, well, if history serves us right, we actually, I think Nigeria has actually helped them during their apartheid. And when I heard of the news, I was quite sad and I was very disappointed in our South African brothers. I just want to appeal to them that whatever it is that is, causing this kind of violence, that you should please take heart, because in Africa we are one, and there's no point fighting your fellow brother and sister over some sentiments that are kind of business, in my opinion.
Earlier the better for Nigerian government to come to the rescue of our fellow Nigerian down in South Africa, so that we won't just be wasting their lives. We never can know what will happen if they delay more than necessary. And even all our people there, they can find means of getting themselves out of South Africa for now. Where there is peace, that is where people can live conveniently in the country. Where there's no peace, there's no way one can continue to stay where there's no peace. It's better for them, for Nigerian government to come to their aid at the appropriate time.
They are not doing enough because by now they're supposed to have been to their own embassy and do something about it first. Because if it were to be an American, you can be rest assured that by now they must have evacuated those people. So what are they doing there? If this place is better than that place, there is no need for them, for these people to go there. They don't want us in that place. So let's develop this place and make it comfortable for everybody in the diaspora to come back home.
As representative over there, I think the best that Nigeria could do is not to take an immediate action to evacuate the citizen, except of course where there's an embargo on soil, which cannot be. Nigeria government should do something to evacuate the citizen, because it appears the citizens are unprotected, they are helpless, they are crying. The other day I learned that 4 were killed, 6 were killed. Even if it is half, that's a human being. I will need to take action on that.
We certainly value your input, and you can always feel free to reach out to us. You will later see later on at the end of the program our Twitter handle and email address, so you can reach out to us. But we're still looking at our top story right now, that's xenophobia. Now, in order to address an issue, it's best to look at the root in terms of how it all began.